You picture a business you would actually want to run, and your brain goes somewhere clean. A coffee shop with good light. An app. A boutique gym with a logo you would put on a hoodie. Nobody's daydream involves a truck that smells like a septic tank. But the man driving that truck bought a lake house in cash last year, and the man running the coffee shop is still waiting on his SBA loan to clear. That gap, between what looks good and what actually pays, is the entire subject of this list. These are 10 businesses that print money precisely because almost nobody wants to tell people they run them. None of them require a pitch deck. None of them will get a founder invited onto a stage to talk about disruption. And that, according to the people who actually run them, is most of the reason the margins have stayed this good for this long. Number 1. Septic tank pumping. In rural Ohio, a man named Gary bought a used pump truck for $18,000 in 2011. He now runs 3 trucks and grosses just under $1.1 million a year. His margins sit around 35% because there is no national chain competing for his customers, no venture capital flowing into sewage, and a homeowner with a backed-up tank will pay almost anything within an hour to make the problem disappear. Gary's kids don't mention what he does at school. Gary doesn't mind. He knows exactly how many other trucks are for sale in his county, and the answer is none. A friend of his once tried to start a mobile detailing business in the same county, chasing a market everyone could picture, and folded within a year because 6 other people had the same idea at the same time. Number 2. Vending machine routes. A woman named Priscilla in Tampa started with 4 machines in break rooms she talked her way into. She now owns 62 machines across factories and warehouses, and the route alone, restocking and collecting cash, takes her about 18 hours a week. She clears roughly $140,000 a year after expenses. Nobody at a dinner party asks a vending machine owner for stock tips, and that turns out to be one of the quiet benefits of the job. She keeps a spreadsheet of every location's weekly total, and the machines nobody wanted, the ones tucked into a warehouse break room instead of a shiny office lobby, are consistently the ones that sell the most. Number 3. Coin-operated laundromats. A laundromat does not innovate. It does not pivot. It sits on a corner in a neighborhood full of renters who don't own a washer, and it collects quarters and app payments with almost no daily labor once it's running. A group of investors in Phoenix bought a struggling laundromat for $210,000, replaced the machines with card readers, and now nets close to $80,000 annually from a building they visit twice a month. The equipment is boring. The cash flow is not. Number 4. Portable toilet rental. Every festival, every construction site, and every wedding held in a field needs a supply of portable toilets, and almost none of those event planners want to think about where the units come from. A company outside Nashville started with 12 units and a flatbed trailer and now operates over 400 units, billing construction sites monthly and event companies per weekend. Owners in this space routinely report margins above 40%, mostly because the barrier to entry is not money. It's the willingness to own 400 portable toilets. Number 5. Crematoriums. Death is the one industry that never experiences a recession, and a family-owned crematorium in a mid-sized Texas town does close to $2 million in annual revenue, while employing a total of 6 people. The owner, a soft-spoken man who inherited the business from his father, has been approached 3 times by private equity firms wanting to buy him out and roll him into a regional chain. He has said no every time, and every time the offer has gone up. He mentioned once, almost as an aside, that he has never had to advertise a single day in 31 years of business. Number 6. Junk removal. 2 guys with a pickup truck in Charlotte started hauling old furniture out of estate sales for cash, and within 4 years they had built a company with 6 trucks, 14 employees, and just under $3 million in yearly revenue. The job is physically brutal and involves almost no glamour whatsoever, and that is exactly why the market stays wide open. Most people would rather start a podcast than lift a couch down 3 flights of stairs, so the ones willing to lift the couch end up owning the market. Number 7. ATM machine ownership. A retired postal worker in Milwaukee named Denny bought 40 ATM machines and placed them in bars, gas stations, and laundromats that didn't want to pay a bank's installation fee. Each transaction earns him a small surcharge, usually between $2 and $3, and across 40 machines that adds up to roughly $160,000 a year in fees, almost all of it passive once the machines are stocked. Denny checks his phone once a day and refills cash once a week. He describes his job, when asked, as retired. Number 8. Self-storage facilities. A facility outside Sacramento with 200 units, built on a plot of land nobody else wanted because it sat next to a rail line, generates over $600,000 a year with a single part-time employee at the front desk. Self-storage has one of the lowest operating costs of any real estate category because the tenants never call at midnight with a broken pipe. They just keep paying, month after month, to store things they mostly forget they own. Number 9. Pest control. A franchise owner in suburban Atlanta named Rosalind bought into a regional pest control brand for around $60,000 in startup costs, and now runs a route-based business generating close to $900,000 a year. Contracts renew automatically. Customers rarely shop around once they trust a technician. And termites, unlike most consumer trends, have shown no interest in going out of style. Rosalind says the hardest part of the business isn't the bugs. It's convincing new hires that the job is not disgusting once you get used to it. Number 10. Industrial uniform and linen rental. Restaurants, hospitals, and auto shops all need uniforms and towels cleaned on a schedule, and almost none of them want to own the laundry equipment themselves. A regional uniform rental company based in Indiana has held the same client list for over a decade because switching suppliers is more of a headache than most managers are willing to deal with. The company grosses $11 million a year, runs on long-term contracts that renew without a phone call, and has never once been mentioned in a magazine about businesses to watch. None of these 10 businesses will ever trend on social media. Nobody is filming a founder story about a portable toilet company or writing a glowing profile of a crematorium owner. And that turns out to be the actual mechanism behind all 10. When a business is unpleasant enough, or unglamorous enough, or physically dirty enough, most people rule it out before they ever run the numbers. That single act of ruling it out, repeated by millions of people every year, is what keeps the margins high and the competition thin. It costs nothing for a competitor to decide a job is beneath them, and it turns out that decision is being made constantly, by almost everyone, every single day. Gary still drives his own truck twice a week, not because he has to, but because he likes knowing exactly what's happening on his routes. Priscilla still restocks her own machines. Denny still checks his ATMs once a day out of habit more than necessity. None of them are chasing a headline. They found the gap between what looks good and what actually pays, and they walked straight into it, while everyone else was busy walking the other way. The businesses on this list were never hidden. They were sitting in plain sight the entire time, waiting for someone willing to smell like a septic truck on the way to the bank.